50 years of emergency. There are a lot of facets perhaps this generation and the generation that was born thereafter does not realize of what happened at that horrific time. Joining us now, Editor Tughlaq, Professor Gurumurthy, who's seen those days. He's written against it. He's been quite vocal about it. Professor Gurumurthy, namaskaram. Thank you for your time, sir. I want to ask you, sir, straight. Was it the jailing of the opposition and the issue with the courts and the media, or was it the altering of the constitution, changing its very DNA? Which of the two hurt Bharat more?
See, it hurt Bharat more. The excesses of what was called the excesses of emergency hurt Bharat more during that 18-month period. But what would have hurt it eternally and converted it into a single party dynastic autocracy had the 42nd Amendment, which was authenticated and which the President signed and came into effect on the 2nd of January 1977. Mrs. Gandhi, or the emergency cabal, had converted India from a multi-party democracy into a single-party dynastic autocracy by Article 32A of the Constitution, brought in by the 42nd Amendment. It said the government can, by executive order, ban any organization which, for example, calls for a strike, which can be called communal. Or, for example, if it launched a movement like a Ram Janmabhoomi movement, or if it adopted Hindutva, or if it had a caste orientation, OBC parties. That is, all other parties, then the Congress could be fitted into the definition of unlawful associations. So if Mrs. Gandhi had won the elections in 1977, which was her idea and which she thought was a foregone conclusion, and if the elections had been won by the Congress, it is this constitution. See, 42nd Amendment is being talked in terms of affecting federal structure, this, that and the other. This Article 32A converted India into an autocracy. This is not debated at all. It is surprising it was not debated even at the time when emergency was being debated during the Janata Party period. They only talked about excesses, somebody being in jail, somebody. Surprising, even today this aspect has not been properly focused and it has not come in the narrative. So I believe that this is the most fundamental idea of Mrs. Gandhi, that it is not only the emergency should be perpetuated. Of course, it had many provisions which would perpetuate the emergency also. But the most important thing is to transform the character of India itself from a multi-party democracy into a single party dynastic autocracy. And this law cannot be challenged. This particular amendment could not be challenged because the Article 32, which gave the right to enforce the fundamental rights itself, was modified. So this aspect is the most critical aspect in my view. And even now, when Rahul Gandhi holds the constitution, the question I ask is, which constitution are you holding? It is the constitution which the Janata Party brought in. It is not the constitution of your grandmother. So if you are saving the constitution, you must hold that constitution and say, I will save the constitution brought in by my grandmother. So it is, Rahul Gandhi did not know these things, and that is why he held the constitution. And that was a full toss he bowled at Modi. He immediately grabbed it by his response, saying that it is Constitution Hatya Day. And now he has brought the whole emergency back into debate, for which Rahul Gandhi must be thanked.
But Professor Gurumurthy, the aspect of the preamble being altered, even when the Janata Party government came, nobody discussed this. How can you insert words like socialist and secular and get away with it? That change also, does that not change and alter the entire dynamic of Bharat itself? And this word secular has been debased to a level where it no longer stands for what it actually is supposed to mean. And did that not alter the political landscape also? And why should a nation be driven by its preamble to always look at a socialist point of view? We could change with the times in terms of how we should be. Or did that not matter?
You see, you must understand, Janata Party was not one cohesive party. It was a jumbling up of 4 different parties into one for the single purpose of defeating Mrs. Gandhi, which it achieved. The moment Janata Party achieved it, Janata Party had nothing else to do as a common agenda. So there were socialists and there were people like Charan Singh and the Rural Trust and the Caste Trust and the remnants of the Congress Party, the Congress O. The only party which had a different philosophical orientation was the BJP, which emerged out of the Janata Party. Previously it was Janasangh. So that the Janata Party should have done this, why did not do? Because Janata Party could not agree on removing the word socialist. It would not agree on removing the word secularism. And so, when they cannot agree, the party which is to amend undo the article, 42nd Amendment, could not agree on, then they allowed it to continue. According to me, this makes no sense, these 2 terms. Because does anyone talk about socialism today? Because socialism has become irrelevant. In the same way, secularism, the perverted secularism, has become irrelevant. The secularism of 1975, 77, later, is not the secularism today. We are talking about a very different kind of secularism.
Yes.
Sarvapanta Samabhava is probably the legitimate definition of secularism. That minorityism is secularism is gone. Politically, the definition of secularism has changed. And so to say that the secularism should be removed, an undefined word being there in the constitution, in my view, it makes no sense. It is no more the constitution preamble being the key to the constitution will not apply to either secularism or socialism.
But Professor